presented by EA Sports, is brought to you by the County of Maui and the Maui Visitors Bureau.
And from the EA Sports Maui Invitational, it's our third-place game, Gonzaga against Kentucky. And as we take a look at Star Watch for the Wildcats, Marquise Estel, 26 points in the tournament. Coach Tubby Smith calls him one of the most talented offensive players he's ever coached. For the Zags, Blake Stepp. Well, he had a big game yesterday, very hot in Gonzaga's comeback effort against Indiana that fell just short. He can certainly fire it up there, and he's averaging 14.5 in the tournament.
And the toughness he exudes that permeates the rest of the club. Kentucky, it's all about ringing the bell outside.
That's Bill Raftery. Jay Bill is with us as well, and we are set for the third-place game of the Maui Invitational.
We got a foul out of the gate. That's the earliest foul you'll see.
3 seconds in.
Yeah, Blake Stepp going after the basketball.
And look at the starting lineups for Kentucky and Gonzaga. Number 33, Violet, the big man for the Zags.
Tough to be saddled with one that early, huh?
That's awfully quick. I mean, you put your sneakers on, and they hit you with one.
And Blake took me out of my rhythm.
Here's Bogans with his first touch. Over to Fish. Kentucky in the Kentucky blue. Barber double team.
Marquise with a lot of action around them.
Underneath for Fish.
Pretty low. Barber, nice penetration. We've seen him use the dribble in good fashion.
2-0 to Cats.
Tough. Look at the hold, I think, by Chuck Hayes down in the 3-second area.
There's Tubby Smith in his 6th year at Kentucky, reaching the Sweet 16 4 times. He won a '98 national title, and there's Mark Few. He's trying to get there. Tremendous success in the Pacific Northwest over the last several years. 29-4 last year, the tournament team again. Going to power his way, tried to get through Estel, but he shut him down.
Well, not a good foul by Skinner here. He banged. I think they give it to him. Could have been Violet, too. Good aggressive offensive move here. Protects the basketball, and you just see all the banging. Violet underneath. Did they give it to Skinner?
Yep, Tony Skinner with his first. Let's see if Kentucky can come out and shoot the ball well, as they did in the first game of the tournament. And that was the key to their win. Estel.
A nice rag outside by Brooks.
Barber dribbles into the paint.
Pretty play again. How about that? Creative. Jay, that really helps your inside people. You know, their man gets attracted to the bounce. Well, that penetration has caused help side, and they've not rotated down. That's been the issue.
Brooks kicks out, but the three-pointer rattles home for Skinner.
Nice job by Winston Brooks. Good chest pass.
Bogans lost it on a dribble, got it back. And Fitch to call a play for the Wildcats.
When you make the pass into the shooter's hands where you just catch and shoot it, that's what you love in your point guard.
Bogans low for Barber. Antoine Barber in and out. Gonzaga looking to take a lead.
Step with that head up, always.
Skinner just hit that three-pointer. It's Gord. He likes that bank shot.
A great spot, nice post entry, just unable to convert. A little harsh.
Pitch on the wing. They tried to clear out for Hayes. And he was fouled. He was held.
Automatic switching out top. Guard to guard, guard to small forward. I think they can make a little step and go. A lot of room between the defenders.
Chuck Hayes picked up his first foul. The first game of the day went overtime. Arizona State hanging on for a victory over Utah. ASU shot 57 foul shots in that game. Unbelievable.
Amazing.
Pitches jump shot, no. Hayes returns, no.
Great weak side rebound. Got to knock that down.
Brooks driving through. It's knocked off the basket. Estel that time.
He's got to stay on the floor. Went right over the top. Marquise had his problems with fouls yesterday.
That's his first. They bounce in for Skinner.
Confident. Both corners.
So he has been the Zags offense, nailing a pair of three-pointers, 6-4.
Good string out by Gord.
Estel will draw a lot of attention, as talented as he is offensively, and he is fouled in the lane.
You really got to be ready on inbounds passes. You can just see all the way in the corner. He should have ran. He stayed in the 3-second lane looking for a cutter. You got to be over there. Skinner's had two good opportunities without people on him.
Marquise Estel, 6'9", out of Richmond, Kentucky.
They need a big year from him, Jay. Don't you think? He's got to step up. Kamara and he is. They run the floor. They do a lot of good things, but being consistent, I think, is essential.
And Estel's been consistent when he's been on the floor. The problem's been he hasn't spent much time on the floor because of foul trouble. You don't mind him getting the occasional over-the-back foul or trying to fight in the post. The problem he's had are picking up a lot of cheap ones. Nickel dimers, as you call them.
Small change. And Hayes with a great front.
That's a three for Bogans.
There's the guy. He gets on fire. It really lifts everybody's spirits with the Wildcats.
He certainly was against Arizona State in their first-round win. 7 for 10 from the field and 20 points.
Violet hasn't had a good touch down in the box area.
Step for the look, but he's fouled on the three-point effort.
Just like you said, Jay, that's not a good one.
No, not at all. I mean, when you're going after a jump shooter, you want to put pressure on the shot, but you know, Marquise Estel does not want to be a perimeter shot blocker. You went right, and there's a clear foul. Could have been a 4-point play.
I mean, I don't understand why guys don't skip out or jump stop. I mean, he's, what, 6'9", he's got a guard. Just put the hand up. That's enough of a deterrent.
When Rick Majerus coaches his closeouts, he says low, slow, and under control. Not a run out.
That's 2 on Estel, and it looks like Kamara will make an early entry into this game for Kentucky.
Well, that really ties you up as a coach, too, Jay. I mean, all of a sudden, the rhythm, the rotation that you're accustomed to or you want, puts a lot of pressure on your bench.
So Tubby Smith will take Estel out and bring in Jules Kamara. But Gonzaga will bring in Ronny Turioff, who's been quite a story in this tournament.
Instant offense, huh? He's really done a great job. Understands the footwork, gets great position, uses the glass, has a variety of releases.
9-7 the Zags. Hayes got it out for Barber. Kamara, and now Fitz at 3. And there's Turioff quickly making his presence felt with a rebound. Corner jumper Skinner.
Nice play by Steph.
He batted it out to Brooks and a save. Zach Gord with it.
Tough look.
Kentucky to run. Barber through, fouled. He won't get the basket.
Gord just wanted to make sure he didn't get the deuce. When you make a mistake, you better hustle back, and Zach did that particular trip. Didn't make a good entry pass. And Mark Few, they do a great job getting the ball inside. And once again, attacking the rim. Probably just really tough.
Barber to shoot, too. Another thing Few gets a lot of credit for is working his big people in. A great rotation, and now he brings in Richard Fox, the 6'11 junior. Boy, they can throw depth at you.
It's like a nice 5-man rotation up front. And each guy understands the little low post hold off. They've got a variety of moves in there, too. I mean, it's just not an easy out. They don't just catch it and stand still.
Barber gets it to go. 15:37 to play here in the first half as part of Feast Week. A terrific game here. Gonzaga and Kentucky both ranked in the top 25. Drenched day here in Maui. It's still daytime and bright and sunny. Well, our fifth place game went overtime. Where's this one headed? Gonzaga with a 1-point lead on the Wildcats.
Well, keep going inside if you're the Zags. Put some pressure on them. You see the field goal percentage. Kentucky with one more. Nice step and go.
Literally, step kicks it out for Skinner. Now he's open for three, and he knocked it down.
Boy, he's very active without the basketball. All the way through to the corner. Defense didn't honor it. Little zone right now, Dave.
Let's see how Kentucky attacks it.
High low, big hands, make yourself bigger.
Barber in, got tied up in the air. And a foul. They're going to get boxed for that one for Gonzaga.
They were both competing beautifully, getting after one another, and just running the baseline, set that whole deal up. Big back cut, nice bounce pass, couldn't handle it, but he made himself go down and through. He said, I should have had a deuce on the layup.
Blake Stepp coming off of knee trouble last year. Had a torn meniscus in the knee, played with it. In fact, he started 29 of the Zags' 33 games for a tough kid. He's healthy this year as Kamara knocks down the foul shot.
You can say that about a lot of their players, a lot of tough kids.
Delena Azubuike gets into the ball game for the Wildcats. 12-9 Gonzaga. Kamara made it.
Great experience, man. Azubuike, Barber guys getting a feel 3 straight days. What is three-quarter court pressure.
And 3 straight days of excellent competition. That'll get you ready for the season in the SEC. Victoria blocked.
And a very nice look by Fox. Good reaction on the D.
Bogan's ready to shoot. Step with a board. Always has his chin up.
And then Tilio takes his guy right to the rim, and Step fan dribbles and knocks it down. He was looking for the big guy, but settled for the J.
Step has 9 points. Gonzaga now up by 5. Cote into the game up top. Bogan's in a bit. Nearly threw it away.
He got caught. Nobody flashing.
Shot clock at 12. Azubuike. Kamara, now Bogan. Shot clock at 6. Kamara has to shoot it.
Terrific play by Bogans, don't you think?
Yes.
Split the defenders, caused some confusion, and then the dish.
Underneath, it rolls out. Fox thought he had it.
A nice play by Skinner and a good run by Fox. Just didn't convert. The communication now so important, Jay, in this matchup defense.
Have to know where shooters are, but right now what they want to do is make Gonzaga or make Kentucky test it over the top. Make them shoot over an outstretched arm because Kentucky has struggled shooting the ball.
The big thing, though, is the splitting the nice cut here by Azubuike and a great look, but using the dribble by Bogans the prior trip is something that can complement your offense.
They really need to move and move the ball from side to side, then probe into the middle of this defense and soften it up, get it to contract and kick it out. That's when they'll get some open shots.
And as you just saw there, a terrific dive, the reaction. Don't stand still and count the house.
Skinner picking up his 2nd foul. And Tubby Smith will get into the ball game. The jump shooter, Josh Carrier. Azubuike going to the stripe here.
Of course, Josh Carrier probably sits on that bench praying for his own. Yes. You need some instant offense. I'm ready. I think he's got a little better game than just against zone.
2001, Kentucky Mr. Basketball. And the sophomore out of Bowling Green is in.
They had pretty good players as well. ABA.
Azubuike converts. And so it's a 1-point game. Pressure here by the Wildcats.
We bounced the ball on the baseline.
They get the turnover.
Yep. Great defensive maneuver. This is a Kentucky team that's really got to do some things on defense, Jay. I mean, they've got to be creative, get some easier baskets by virtue of their pressing.
And they do have the quickness and versatility to press. Their big guys are agile. They can move. They're long. They can put pressure on the ball.
Carrier did not get it in. That's a 5-second violation.
He never saw Azubuike. Now, that's interesting. He's not a point guard. He had no vision whatsoever. He was sort of honed in, straight out. He had a receiver in the corner.
More pressure.
They stay with it. Nobody in the middle posting.
Ahead to Steph into the fourth quarter. Now Brooks with a kick out for Bankhead. He can hit the three-pointer. You know Steph can.
How about these two guys? Both of them stretch the defense. Now if you approach them.
Oh, block up by Turiaf.
Charge underneath. Turiaf with a great reaction. But good defensive setup earlier. How tough is he? I mean, he'll put his chin on the line, Blake Steph.
And what a sequence, Bill. Hits the three on one end instead of jogging back and enjoying himself. He gets down and gets a charge.
I don't think he jogs to class. None of us were in a real hurry.
Steph doesn't need much of an opening. You lay off him for a split second, it's in the basket.
Keeps active on the offensive end, too, screening. There's that ball screen. And again, Jay, you don't have to be in a hurry. And there's another case of jump stop. Or just stand there if the guy doesn't set him up.
Especially when you're as big as Fox is. Just be a statue there and let the man with the ball use the screen to set up the defender.
Well, you know, it's interesting you say that. A lot of guys, if they don't set their man up, they don't deserve the screen anyhow.
That's right. And a screener can't bail a dribbler out of not setting his man up.
Correct.
Fox out with a second foul. Corey Violette back in for the Zags.
And then their man set there with a back screen.
Cote fronts his man.
Nobody coming to him.
Yeah, and Turiaf all over him. Pitch looking inside, peering through the white shirts, but nothing there.
Too much perimeter right now. Nothing going at the 10. There you go.
Azubuike lets fly.
Just good use of the bounce by Finch.
He hit a three-pointer, give him 5 points. 18-17 the Zags. Turiaf, a guy they really want to get going offensively.
Violet just so forceful there. Got a piece of the ball.
11:44 to play in the first half. Shaping up to be a terrific game, and the Zags lead Kentucky by 1.
I remember.
It's looking like one of the best games of the tournament at the EA Sports Maui Invitational. It's the battle for third place. Kentucky, Gonzaga, Dave O'Brien, Bill Raftery, and Jay Billis. Jay, who just spent a couple of moments inside that huddle of Tubby Smith.
Yeah, Tubby was talking to his team about rebounding the ball collectively, not just Jules Kamara.
The dunk! Turiaf, what a great feat, too.
And they read that zone defense beautifully. Nobody got the legs on Turiaf, and a wonderful diagonal look.
So Gonzaga finally hits a two-point basket. All of the points had come off three-pointers one way or another. They had been 0 for 7 from two-point range.
Steph looks for the next guy, plays off.
Shot clock at 7. Pitch kept on coming, missed it. Rebounded up and in by Azubuike.
That's just being in the right place.
He's contributed 7 quick points. Looks outside for Steph, and you got to get on him in a hurry. Around the screen to shoot again. Short this time. Turiaf in a real battle there on the baseline. Let's look at that alley-oop again.
This was a pretty play. Right off the out-of-bounds, you're going to see this read against the zone. They're an experienced team, Jamie. Right away, they knew what was going on. They ran into this set.
Just screening that middle man. Sometimes in the zone, you get caught looking at the ball. That's exactly what happened to Kentucky. Couldn't see it. There was nobody there to call it out.
10.5 minutes to play in the first half. Kentucky, Gonzaga.
And they got the overload quick for an open look for Steph.
There he is.
That's all him. Terrific analysis. He had been on one side, saw the matchup and the open spot on the baseline.
Yeah, Tubby Smith and his staff have been preaching all game long, have an awareness for Steph. Do not leave him. And continually, he is getting open and getting his feet set. You've got to make him put it down.
A walk for Kamara, turning it over. 10 minutes to play here in the first half of our third place game. And we've got college football coming your way, presented by Circuit City. At 7:30 tomorrow, Mississippi State and Ole Miss. That's for the Golden Egg Trophy. They call it the Golden Egg. It would be a regulation-sized gold-plated football mounted on a pedestal. I kind of like that one of those.
I wouldn't mind having one of those on the bureau. And again, an open look this time, not going down for Bankhead.
23-19 Gonzaga. And now Kentucky looking to regroup. Pitch looking over his shoulder at Tubby Smith. No backdoor there.
Perfect matchup the way they're standing right now, Jay. Nice flash, set it up. That's just great basketball by Kamara. All of a sudden, he sees the opportunity. He's been impressive finding holes in the zone.
He's done a nice job of flashing from behind the zone. Somebody's got to come up there with him. You can see as the ball goes, he goes right into the middle. It collapses that zone, and a nice little look down to Chuck Hayes.
The foul on Blake Stepp is second. And so Chuck Hayes, very impressive as a freshman last year. Sophomore out of Modesto, California. 6'6", 247 pounds. Here comes Bogans. And the Kentucky fans who have filled the stands here throughout this great tournament in Maui. Saluting the effort of Azubuike and Fitch.
And you mentioned Hayes. I thought defensively he has played well here, but he's struggled with his offensive opportunities. The perfect goal, a little late, Barber.
Barber took a spill.
Foul in the backcourt. Violet really handled it nicely to break through that trap.
So Gonzaga into the offensive zone. Hurry up, and Brooks really batted away from Violet. Bankhead quickly to shoot.
They gave him a good screen. 90% almost of his game with the threes. He didn't go for the deuces too much. Nice hands here. Reisman.
Reisman in to score.
Tell you what, that gives Steph a little longer rest on the sidelines there when he gets to put a sub in and do a job.
And it looked like Barber was trying to assess what he had instead of making the catch first, bobbled it, and went the other way.
Bogans will back it out, set a play here. Tubby Smith has the freshman Brandon Stockton into the game. He handles it now.
And they ran their little shuffle cut, or UCLA cut, against the zone.
Bogans off a Kamara screen. Can't get it. Barber tried to keep it alive, and right to Violet.
Well, he gets his hands on it. No one's going to get it.
He has 4 rebounds. Less than 8 minutes to play in the half. Hurry up. And it's stripped away. And Kentucky's been much tougher on him than other teams in the tournament.
They sure have. They're ready for him. He exposed the ball.
It got to Hayes. Toyev slapped and blocked it, but Hayes got it back.
Barber had been wide open. They just couldn't get him to basketball.
Kamara handles it.
Good gut to the goal again. Hayes couldn't just protect the basketball. Kamara with a wonderful look over his shoulder.
And we have a timeout with 7:19 to play. As part of Feast Week, it's Gonzaga and Kentucky. Indiana and Virginia play for the championship of this tournament later on tonight. Sunshine and surf outside. Inside, some pretty good basketball. Gonzaga with a 25-20 lead on the Kentucky Wildcats, who here in Maui launched their 100th season of basketball in this tournament. 9 seconds left on the shot clock.
Well, this is where the defense can tighten up, force a deep pass, and stay at home.
Clock at 5. Bogans drives, and he traveled with it. A turnover for Bogans.
As he pivoted, he probably lifted his foot there. But the Zags are so alert. I mean, they knew time, situation, hugged their guy, forced a tough dribble drive.
5 turnovers apiece. Brooks almost lost it. Bogans hounding him. And he gets it across.
Just for 1 second.
Yeah. Surya scoops it. Offensive foul.
He did that. You lift that arm. He's got to keep it in. And he's fighting himself. Got to play within himself.
We're calling it the feast before the feast. It is a fantastic night of NBA action. Shaq and the Lakers taking on his former team, the Magic. Then at 9:30, you'll see the EA Sports Maui Invitational Championship. It's Virginia against number 20, Indiana. What a game yesterday. The Zags gave the Hoosiers coming down to the last second shot that Steph could not hit.
Pete Gillen's back in his room working on his sweating.
Does he really need to work on that?
That comes easily. Once again, cutting. They're doing a nice job cutting, wouldn't you say, against this zone, Jay?
That's exactly what it's designed to do. Pass and cut, high-low looks, and they executed it very well. When you move against the zone, you're going to force that zone to move, and then you're going to get some open shots. If you stand, you're dead.
Gonzaga by 3.
Oh, nice defense.
From behind, yeah.
Right? And the pass to the incorrect hand helped.
Kamara's 6'11". They didn't even know he was there. Bogans, great dish underneath. The block by Violet.
Great reaction.
Hayes, Powers. Bankhead with it. Not a bad series there. Violet commanding the ball. That's Hayes scooping, missing. Tip to Bogans.
Well, they are finding people.
They found Hayes for 2.
Just didn't regroup in the timeout by Mark Few. Blake Stepp with the 2 fouls. Sort of resting him and saving him, but defensively not collecting and getting reorganized. You see back in here, nobody at home. No reaction whatsoever. Everybody overloading defensively, and that's lacking in communication.
We're talking about the feast before the feast. How about the Owens Corning preseason NIT semifinals? That's coming up. Stanford against Florida. The Gators ranked number 7. Matt Walsh has adjusted awfully well to college. He's only shooting 71% from the field. And then at 9 o'clock, the number 2 Kansas Jayhawks taking on North Carolina. Roy Williams played on the freshman team at North Carolina.
No homework, no snow, and if you stay here too long, no money.
Well, we're going home after tonight's championship game on ESPN between Indiana and Virginia.
Jay, we had this discussion about coaches who favor 2 fouls, get them out totally, and it's really a field thing, and Reisman's really helped out in this guard rotation, but Step in there, he's experienced, the trust value here by Coach Few.
Yeah, you got to do it by feel. I agree with you, and if you can steal some extra time, that's great. Blake Stepp played an awful lot of minutes in this tournament so far, but when he's on the floor, Gonzaga's that much better.
Kentucky crashing the boards, but the tip wasn't there, and Toriak saved it.
Nice balancing act as well. They got numbers.
Reisman dishes underneath. Violet.
And there's the big guy running the floor, Jay. What a pleasure to see these guys. Both teams are capable of doing it. They take advantage of it.
And how about the decision by Reisman there to force the defender to play him and then the dump off?
Gonzaga with the biggest lead of this game. It's 6 points. Cross court, Stockton didn't shoot it. Logan's working it. Lost it, but right to Kamara. Not there for him.
Toriak does a terrific job. He really hangs in there.
Tips Stockton, and he got fouled. Bankhead hit him.
Not a bad idea by Reisman, but one of those he should have eaten the basketball. But the big guy getting himself in position, and just as Jay said, Reisman almost looks like he's going to shoot the ball, really froze the defense. And this is the one that, well, you just hold off a little bit. You got to be absolutely sure. And then the giveaway by Bankhead.
So Brandon Stockton will go to the foul line. The 5'9" freshman. He is small, but he comes in a star, named Kentucky's Mr. Basketball last year. At Glasgow High School, he averaged 26 points a game as a senior. Some substitutions for Mark Few here. He's going to bring Zach Gord back into the game along with Fox.
Kentucky, the young guys are getting good minutes for Tubby, I think.
Yeah. To
go home, feel good playing under the gun. Back to knocking that one down. Azubuike, Barber.
Of course, with Tubby Smith, your first option is win the thing, win the tournament. That's what you're trying to do, but working in some of his talented freshman class.
Step against the zone, you got to locate.
Step of the bounce, he tossed it right to Azubuike.
Kamara does a terrific job. He got around the screen, got out on his guy.
Cote off for Fitch. That's an over the back, over the top foul. Step took the hit.
He's not afraid to throw his body in front of the offensive rebounder. Good, solid play.
So a timeout with 3:38 left in the first half. Gonzaga with a 4-point lead over Kentucky. 2 minutes. Reese Digger, thank you very much. We understand in your neck of the woods, the weather outside is frightful. Here, just delightful in Maui. And Blake Stepp and the Gonzaga Zags, ranked number 21 in the country. He's got 15 points. He's been a big part of their 4-point lead.
1-4 back cut. Azubuike with the giveaway. Digger looks so regal as he sits there, welcoming his audience.
That's foul number 3 on Bankhead. Or rather, Azubuike, he picks up his third to put Bankhead in the line with 3:29 to play in the half.
Jay, they throw a lot of things at you. That little 1-4 look, they get the back cut. You got to be prepared for the Zags.
Offensively, they're very versatile.
Yep.
And they can spread the floor. They keep good spacing. They make hard cuts. And they always have their feet set when they're stepping into a shot. They're ready to shoot as the ball arrives.
Rotate low, Gord right there with him.
Getting a lot of mileage out of this zone. Tough shot. What a save. He has just played terrific. Taking advantage of his minutes.
Fox off to Gord. Spun and walked.
Not a bad look by Fox. Good defensive reaction on Gord. But hustling and scrapping. This will get you more minutes as the year progresses. Look at this, and finding somebody. The danger in that tip, though, Jay, if it goes to the wrong hand, blind, it's a layup for Kentucky.
Well, at least he knew he had 4 other white shirts underneath that basket, because Gonzaga has done a pretty nice job of sending all 5 guys to the defensive boards. They haven't allowed Kentucky many second shots at all.
And they're not afraid to hit guys. I mean, in basketball jargon, stick, keep them off the glass.
Stockton bounced off Kamara and misfired. Stepp wants to run here. Bankhead off his fake inside the 3-point line.
Good job defensively, forcing him to it. But Stepp with the ball, make sure he gets it to the correct individual.
Barber free to shoot, at least for a second. Fox jumped out, and then he went inside.
And avoiding, and Stepp trying to pick up the charge. Good body control.
Barber with 3 points. Stepp lost it and turned it over.
Interesting now, that ball slipped. You're permitted to go get it.
Halftime, Maui Wowie. And a look ahead of the championship game, the Cavs and the Hoosiers. And also a peek at the great Florida freshmen.
Some interesting things on tap.
Anthony Robertson and Matt Walsh.
Tough look there. Got to know who you're throwing it to, what the traffic is. Now, Mark Hughes just asked him the same thing. How's that a turnover? Ball slips, you are permitted to go get it.
Kentucky a little sloppy, and they have not shot well recently, just 2 for their last 11 from the floor.
They get well rested, they're big people, Jay. Nice rotation. You can win and be fresh and compete at a high level.
and you wear out your opponents who aren't as deep.
Fatigue, a major issue when you play the Zags. He's got 1-4 again with a stagger for Reisman.
A minute and a half to play in the half. Step to the paint. Tipped up twice and controlled by the Cats. Looking to run. Fitch. The alley-oop. The slap away there by Turiaf and a great block.
And he is hurt too. What a great effort by the big guy.
And he gets back into the play. So Turiaf denies. Will he be denied? Off the glass. Turiaf went down again there.
And he's really coming back. Last one down. Good cover by Violet.
Cote unloads from the corner. That's 3 points.
He hasn't been able to do much in the lane. Moves his game deep.
So the lead down to 1. 32-31. Step again. Back iron. Bogans off the feet from Fitch.
And step back to a very smart play. They'll probably hold for 1. Did not foul. Good aggressive D by K1.
And Kentucky leads it by a point. The shot clock is off. Step for Turiaf. Tipped out. Long one backhand at the buzzer, and it'll be no good. So we are at halftime of this third-place game in Maui. The Wildcats have taken the lead. They closed that half with a 9-2 run to lead 33-32 over Mark Few's Gonzaga Bulldogs. So at the EA Sports Maui Invitational, that's your halftime score. Right now, we go to the studio, Reese Davis and Digger Phelps.
Another good first half out there on the island, Digger, and I guess never again.
Particularly Blake Steppen. You know they're inside games, so that should help them. But, you know, Tubby's team speed and defense, I think, has been better. They've pressured the ball and run to the floor. Interesting combination here, these two teams. The inside game, you would expect the Zags to do a lot of damage. They haven't been able to get Turi off the ball as well. He hasn't been able to finish around the rim.
Turiaf with 48 points, 24 in each game coming into this one. In the first 2 games of the tournament, he's been held to 2 points by Kentucky. Step quickly, scores.
How about that? A quick step.
Kentucky very balanced as Step now has 17 points. The Wildcats employed 9 different scorers in the first half. Zabuki leading them with 7 points. So they've mixed up the scoring pretty well.
And Step with those 2 fouls, they put him back in. He played 16 minutes. And so they got a lot out of him. He's smart enough to stay in a foul problem.
Barber guarded closely by Step and knocked away by the Zags.
Nice job by Winston Brooks.
Trying to beat Violet and a foul.
The hold, Kamara.
So it goes against Kentucky. His first. Just underway here in the second half. Bill Raftery, Jay Billis, Dave O'Brien with you. 1-point lead for Gonzaga.
And they get a lob against this zone in the first half. Good fill by Violet.
Swinging around for Skinner's 3.
Tell you what, he has had 3 deep ones. That stretches everything.
All of his points have come on trays. 9 points.
Jay, I have seen more zones out here than you might see during the course of the season. Think about it, with Virginia thrown in the group too.
Especially with these 2 teams. I don't think you're going to see either one of these teams play this much zone for the rest of the season.
Great shot, but foul up and in.
That's the guy. Well, he does a lot of little things. Hey, solid follow.
37-35, Gonzaga. Gord will not take that shot.
But he made the guy play him. That's what you have to do. Be a threat.
Step looking to his bench. Mark Few calls out a play. Shot clock at 5. Well, here's a play that's worked a lot for them. A long-distance jumper by Stepner over the back foul.
Yeah, Violet. That was one of those deals where he froze him with the dribble, thought he could get it, didn't utilize the pick whatsoever. Sometimes you feel it. And I know when you're playing there, you felt it a lot, Jay. But the play was designed for the pick and roll, maybe to get Corey down on the block.
Yeah, and get this defense moving. It was the first time they saw some man, so make Kentucky guard. That was not a great shot by Blake Stepp, but 8 of 15 from 3. They're still doing some damage from behind that arm.
Go to the back door for Bogans.
Great cut, and Brooks did a great job on pitch, and then they fell asleep on the wing defensively.
Keith Bogans with 7. So Kentucky has tied it. This is precisely what we expect. Two very good basketball teams. Ford trying to reverse.
Great job defensively by the big guy Kamara.
Hayes flips it out. Pretty good pass for Finch. And he got the roll.
He sure did. Soft enough.
Finch with 7. Kentucky just getting scoring from everywhere, not just one man. And they lead by 3. Tapped away by Hayes. Finch on the romp.
Great control, don't you think? He had the option, but I think he did the right thing.
The lead is 5. Are they going to take a timeout? They will indeed. Timeout Gonzaga. Tubby Smith's team has opened up a 5-point lead. And as part of Beast Week on ESPN and ESPN2, a damn to hear Kentucky and the Zags.
Kentucky with a 5-point lead over Gonzaga in Maui. Here with Rick Majerus, the Utah youth basketball coach, intimately familiar with both these teams. And first of all, Rick, nice shirt.
Well, thanks. I hadn't thought it was that much of a nice shirt. This is a Target special. They're a lot cheaper in Hawaii.
Yeah, we're practically twins here. Look, Rick, when you look at these two teams, you saw Gonzaga playing up close in the semifinals. How good do you think this team is?
I like Gonzaga. I think that they've got great depth. And that Brooks Stepp is probably the most underrated guard, maybe west of the Mississippi. The guy's a really, really big-time player. He can put it on the floor. He gives the appearance of being a jump shooter. But Gonzaga can really attack you with depth. They got four guys down there that understand how to post that block. Kentucky's athleticism and changing defenses has bothered them a little bit. But, this is the third game in 3 days for each of these guys. And I think that when Gonzaga plays and can get you into more of a tempo situation, Kentucky has got this tempo they're liking in my estimation right now. Although Gonzaga likes to push it, Kentucky likes to play fast to both ends. The faster it plays, I think, the more it favors Kentucky.
And Kentucky's had some foul problems. Marquise Estel just can't seem to stay on the floor. As a coach, what do you tell to a big guy who has foul problems like that?
You want to make sure that you don't swat down and get the big arm movements going. Secondly, is you want to make them score over you with a lob or score through you. You don't want to get angled. He gets angled, and his footwork position's bad, and then he tries to bail himself out with an arm swing, and that's why he gets it. He's got to learn to become more realistic in what he can get to and what he can't get to, and understand the essence of defense is play with the lower body and not the upper body.
How big is this Gonzaga team? I mean, it shocks me sometimes when I watch them play. It's just how big and athletic and skilled their big guys are.
Yeah, their strength and the bulk, they're 250, and they rotate 4 of those bruisers through you. And what happens is they body it on that block and bury you, and they're good runners. But obviously they're too deep in each of the big positions, and they're too deep in each of the perimeter positions. Their second team really could win some leagues. People talk about that with Arizona, but I think some lower-level D1 leagues, their second team would easily win. Some of those, they're that deep and they're that good. It's a top 10 team, Gonzaga, in my estimation.
You've seen them in years past when they were always more guard-oriented. This year, they seem a little more focused on the inside. Is that a difficult adjustment for a coach to make?
Well, Rich Winston is a very good ball handler and a great defender. To me, Stepp is the guy who makes the team go. He's a terrific decision maker and unusual in that he's a great shooter who has a middle game and can put it all the way on the floor and go with it. So I think Gonzaga really gives you a lot of problems, inside and out, because of his presence. And Bankhead really stretches the D. He's your classic 2-guard, but he has NBA range. So now you're playing with 2 wings with NBA range, and the cast of those 4 bigs, and then they have a nice blend of step going to 1 and 2.
Well, Rick, appreciate it. Thanks for your analysis. It looks like me and Raftery are out of a job. We'll be back in Maui in a couple seconds.
Kentucky ranked number 16, leading number 21 Gonzaga by 2. It's the third-place game of the EA Sports Maui Invitational. Marquise Estel, who Bill Raftery has talked about, along with Jay Billis, having a little trouble staying on the floor. He's back out there to guard Turiaf.
Well, they play a little bit bigger. I never quite thought of Jay Billis and Rick Majerus as twins. He said it.
Well, I couldn't determine whose shirt I like better.
Well, Rick's looked like he had worked.
He certainly has.
Staying out of foul problem, a major dilemma, I think, for Estel.
Here's Steph. Rick Majerus talked about Blake Steph and how underrated a guard he is. Shot clock is at 7. Couldn't get a screen, but Turiaf is low. With 1 second left, he got that shot off.
Oh, what a great look.
Bogan's blitzing out of the field.
Terrific, and he hurt himself a little bit. He was going to go up high. He's wincing as he came back. So he had a nice step and go earlier for a jam. He can get down the floor. That body, you don't think of him. He's deceptive with his feet.
Not sure what he did, but he's still wincing. And many seconds after the play, we'll see how long Bogans remains in the game. Kentucky leading by 4 points. Azubuike blocked away, step shot, got it back. Turiaf again, undaunted. On the rim, but it rolled off. Violet, and foul finally.
Great effort, huh? Just so involved. Both clubs competing. And Rick Majerus mentioned the big bodies and the rotations. And early in the game, Jay alluded to fatigue being a factor. And certainly is when you got fresh bodies coming in on a consistent basis to be able to attack the glass. And Violet is violent in that particular area of the floor.
And how about Turiaf getting off his feet? He had 3 jumps before anyone else had 2.
It's amazing. Upside down the road, Jay, you think he's got the capabilities?
With the way he can run the floor and the skill development he's undergoing right now, I think he's a future pro, no question about it. One thing he has to improve upon, though, is when he goes up for shots, he's pushing off with that off arm. He's got to knock that off. It's going to get called.
There are always skeptics, though. With the level of play around him, sometimes he just plays within the system.
And does a very good job of it.
Azubuike trying to run it down, but it will go over to Gonzaga. 14:25 left. Turiaf averaging 24 points a game in this tournament.
He has really stepped it up.
Bogans remaining in the game despite the fact that he was in some pain earlier.
They follow a guy and then recover to the baseline. Turiaf came all the way up. Now he gets back to the basket.
Bogans out of it. 10 seconds on the shot clock.
Nice cut. Oh, that's great. And look who saved it.
Hayes blocked away by Violet. And now Violet will be hit with a foul, I believe.
Yeah, he got the belly bump there. Trying to stay big. Eventually shoved him under a little bit too far. Pretty good reaction. Nothing easy inside. Hayes goes up real strong. Here's Violet. Just the second time now, just sort of moves into the guy. No question. A real good call. Kentucky sort of matching the aggressiveness around the glass.
Foul number 2 on Corey Violet. First team All-West Coast as a sophomore. And the Zags' best player. His foul puts Hayes to the line.
Last year around 74%, so he's solid in that area. Gave him 17 minutes a game. He'll be seeing a lot more time this year.
Chuck Hayes, not the least bit superstitious. He says he picked the number 44 because, well, Fitch had number 4. That was it. Talking about guard Gerald Fitch. 45-41. Violet off the bank yet. Here's steal there by Kamara. A tip and good.
Nice job by Violet. Really gets to the rim. Anticipates a shot being missed.
A quiet day so far scoring-wise for Corey Violet. Just 5 points.
I think he's all about win. He gets the points fine.
He guards Kamara. Bogans tried to pass off. Hayes got it anyway. And spins in. That's quick.
Wasn't that gorgeous? Drop step. You use your backside to tell you where the defense is. Real quick, great spin. A.J. Bogans is good without the ball, by the way. He really knows how to read cuts and anticipate them.
And he's doing a good job of finding his teammates and passing it off.
A foul, and it looks like it's going to be tore up again. Feast before the feast here on ESPN and ESPN2. Well, tonight it'll be the Lakers and the Magic. 7 o'clock Eastern time as Shaq makes his network return. And the EA Sports Maui Invitational Championship game. Pits Virginia against Indiana, number 20 in the nation. And that's tonight on ESPN. Join us for the title game from Maui. Hayes drops it in.
He didn't make shots earlier. Now he got some around the rim, makes the jump shot. Shaq back. I think they had a tough night in Miami, if I'm not mistaken.
They certainly did. After getting up to a great start when he finally did return.
Move up the turnpike.
Up to Orlando.
To Doc's house.
Step whips it across. Skinner. A three-pointer.
And there's the stretch of the day. That's 4 really deep corner jumpers that he has made.
You can feel it in the gym. Both teams starting to heat up offensively.
Very competitive teams, too. They need to win. I mean, they don't want to go home with another one.
Hayes in close again. He wants to shoot. He drew the foul. They go to the line.
See, they give it to, I guess, Skinner. Terrific step moves that time.
More great basketball continuing with the Owens Court increases in NIT. The semifinal, Stanford against number 7 Florida and number 2 Kansas against North Carolina at 9 o'clock Eastern time. That is tonight. The feast before the feast. Your Thanksgiving feast indeed.
And Jay, right now Kentucky doing a much better job against the zone, getting the ball to people either on the block or in the 3-second area, and then finding, or in Hayes' case, doing some great post moves.
They've been more active, haven't they, Bill? They've been passing and cutting and dragging defenders with them, and they've stepped into open areas and have been ready to shoot when they get there. And Chuck Hayes has been spectacular with his footwork inside.
Timeout. Kentucky leading Gonzaga 50-46. We are in the second half of our third-place game in Maui. Kentucky with a 4-point advantage on Gonzaga. And for those of you looking for NFL tonight, it will be seen later at 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific. We invite you to stay with us here at the EA Sports Maui Invitational as number 16 Kentucky takes on number 20 Gonzaga. Or 21 is the case, depending on the poll you look at.
Nice post by Bankhead and gets the look.
They need to start heating up. Gonzaga in the second half 4 for 15 before that jump shot.
Now that's tough. You press and don't recover and identify people. That's not good defense.
Lead cut to 1. Pitch to Bogans. He's open. Could not get it, but there's a whistle.
Over Skinner on this one. Yeah. There's discard. Marty McDonald with the call.
Look at the 3-point field goals to this point. Gonzaga 10 out of 19, but so many of their points have come from that distance.
30-12 when you think of it. That's a tough amount to make up. And yet, Kentucky's been able to.
Now, Kentucky in the second half, 7 out of 12 after that miss from the field.
Boy, Zags very fortunate to duck that. Curry off over there to assist defensively.
Bogans quickly steals it. Could not, as Fox was right behind him, could not get the layup. And the basket will not count.
He was concerned about having it blocked by Fox, Bowden. That's why he missed it, but he gets the 2 free throws. He feels he's going to keep up with him. I don't think there's any chance. Little peek there, and that's that leg. Remember we mentioned a while ago?
Yeah.
He's not getting the explosion around the rim.
No, he certainly didn't. What he should have done was take it in and just lay it up with his left hand. There's no way that Fox could have caught up to him.
51-49. The Egg Bowl is coming up, presented by Circuit City. On Thursday, it'll be Mississippi State against Ole Miss. That's tomorrow. Always a tussle between traditional rivals. Bogans with 11 points. Brooks guarded by Bogans. 52-49, the Wildcats. Step backs out to get a better look. Still looking.
And that's just the offense killed them. Stop the play there. A jump ball, but their offensive set, they never got organized. Mark Few was upset at his guys because they didn't run the offense, and Blake's out there pounding, trying to get them organized. And right here, the ref, unfortunately, just happened to be doing his duty and causes the eventual turnover.
So Kentucky will have the basketball. 10:24 to play. 52-49.
That's one of those turnovers you just don't want to happen because you're not organized. And yet you got to give credit to these guys stepping up to D. Straight up man.
Camaro. The entry pass to Estel.
Great job. Great execution by the Cats. Dump down.
You have to believe, Raph, they're going to look for him more here in the next several minutes to lengthen out that lead. He's such a gifted offensive player.
Well, they go from the top, and as noted the last couple of days, there's no help side. Either side, they haven't dictated it.
Steph can't get it. It bounced right to Kamara.
Forgetting the inside people and maybe 3 days of being on your legs, huh? Leads to some earned shots.
New shot clock after the kick.
You just a little slip to the rim, hold your guy off. The pass comes to the proper hand. Just go up strong and finish. Excellent look.
Marquise Estel just looks like a serious player, doesn't he?
Well, they need some serious play from him. For them to be good this year, the two big guys inside, I think, have to have solid performances each game.
Well, he is a senior.
Blue zone on the inbounds. Nice catch. You're right.
Estel again.
You've watched a few games.
We've watched a few here at Maui.
Jay,
6:49 and a timeout.
Now we get back to Jay. I think they look tired right now, Dave.
They do indeed, and Gonzaga needed a little bit of a break here because with Estel, the Wildcats are trying to put this one away with 9:17 left. Kentucky's had so many great players over the years. Louis Dampier back in the 60s. He could shoot it. So many great shooters. How about scorers who would not be denied? Dan Issel. Jack Gibbons, the Goose.
Those foul line jumpers in St. Louis when they won it. Sky. Send it in. Kenny Walker and the Monster Mash. Do the mash, do the mash.
100 years of basketball. They opened up their 100th season and a century worth of memories for Wildcat fans. So many of those moments called by the great Kaywood Ledford.
I just think that, you know, I did Kaywood's last game. I was fortunate enough to do his last game. He decided to retire, and in the Final Four, it was just a thrill. The voice, the Harry Callis kind of delivery. And just such a gentleman. Of course, he's up there with Bill Kitely, the banners at Rupp. The only two non-players are coaches up there.
Well, they're on ESPN a lot. And with all that success, you'll see him quite a bit again as 380 men's and women's college basketball games will be broadcast on ESPN throughout the winter. This is your home for college hoops. And as part of Feast Week, delighted to be with you here in Maui for our last day on the island. And Mark Few wants to get out with another win.
And Jay Billis, I started to ask you, Do they look tired, the Zags? I mean, all of a sudden, we're not the same reaction. They go inside.
They look a little bit tired, but it looks like they've lost some of their poise, which is very unusual. And Tubby Smith has done a great job in this game with play calls, going to that high-low. And what Gonzaga needs to do, and just talked about it last time out, is putting pressure on the passer. Jules Kamara has been able to look into Marquise Estel with impunity. I mean, he can take a long look and make that pass threading the needle.
Pitch gets inside. Kamara with a turnaround. Quick. Got it back. Bogan spots up.
Kamara, it's all his play. Great speed to the miss, and then the kick out.
Kentucky threatening to pull away. Bogan's now at 13 points. Estel's so active against Violet.
Really haven't been able to get any post up for the big people.
Bankett has to shoot a three-pointer. Estel there again. Last trip down defensively, he blocked a shot. There's Kamara.
Nice paces. Azubuike just relaxed, didn't do anything silly, and then the fill right by the rim.
And how about the outlet pass by Estel?
Yep, absolutely. They're good passing big guys, Jay.
They really are.
Violet with a jump catch and the miss. They're just not falling now for Gonzaga. The shots are not falling at all. 7:39 left. Kentucky trying to get out of Maui with another victory. They lead by 11 over the Zags. 60-49 in our third place game. Kentucky has opened up a lead. Just a little more than 7.5 minutes left here in Maui. And on the island, we wait for the championship game as well. That'll be Indiana and Virginia. And then we sail out of town. Bogans moments ago with a jump shot. He's had a good second half and 13 points. And Kentucky has shot the ball well in the second 20 minutes, Bill.
And the Zags have been struggling. I think it's a lot of fatigue. They got away. And the interesting point that Jay brought up or touched on was poised, and they have always impressed you with their ability under fire to react properly. See if they can regather that form.
Azubuike with a fadeaway. They're hitting everything.
They sure are. Well, that's going to be their year, Jay. If they make shots, they're going to be a tough out.
Because they're always going to rebound and they're always going to guard people. That's just a staple of Tubby Smith's program, is to guard people.
Off working on two big men in Kamara and Estel.
Great use of the timeout. Get it inside. You get regather the form.
What a night we've got coming up. The Lakers against the Magic. Shaq goes at it at 7 o'clock against his old club. At 9:30, you'll see the EA Sports Maui Invitational title game. Virginia against Indiana. Here on ESPN2, the Owens Corning preseason NIT continues. That's coming up next. Two great semifinal matchups. Stanford against Florida, and then number 2 Kansas against North Carolina. Once again, the Jayhawks looking like a team hungry for a national championship under Roy Williams.
They were impressive, I thought, early. Deepening that bench will be something that'll take place the next couple of weeks.
Two terrific players in Heinrich and Collison, and they're loaded up.
Langford, I think, is that guy that just does the added things that make you a much better team.
Kentucky by 11. You can never close the door on the Zags, though, because they're never out of a game.
Not a good approach offensively that time by Kentucky. They're going to go inside. Just keep riding. Curry up. That's it. Get him to the foul line. That's twice now. Mark Few saying, hey, let's stop the nonsense. Don't settle for the deep one. At least get to the free throw line, and suggesting Mark acted like a post-up guy there, Jay. I don't know if you saw it. He was describing how to throw the jump hook to Brody. I don't know if he's been in the post position often.
Everybody wants to get in the act, telling the big guys what to do.
He was right, though.
He was.
A little variety in the selection.
How about that? 37 for 41 in the tournament is Ronny Turiaf for Mark Few. And Mark was telling his team when they were down 17 points yesterday to Indiana with 3 minutes left. He said, you're not out of it. This game can still be won.
They believed in him.
They came up short by 1 point. and had a chance to win it on a step jump shot at the buzzer.
Oh, my goodness. That's one of those good defensive sets, and the small change, the belly bump, cost them. And as you noted,
this is yesterday's Steph. Off the mark, that two-point lay-in counted, but Steph had a chance. He wanted a foul, Bill.
well, I would say that was in question. I think it was the right play. Let it go.
Little rub there.
I'm sure he said in the paper he thought he got hit, and officials didn't agree with him. He handled it very well.
It's amazing. They could have won the game on that shot. And they were buried.
But I'm sure Mike Davis will bring that up, or has brought that up.
10 points for Fitch. He is at the line with 6:29 to go. And Kentucky's really spread around their scoring in this game.
Now, we have seen teams come back in this field. Utah, a good example, and just earlier in the morning.
Yeah, you've been coming here for many years, seen a lot of great games. We saw overtime in our first tilt. Step through. Here's foul.
Not abashed, not afraid to take the hit and get to the free throw line. One of the great ones was Kentucky against Arizona. Grasso going to the goal.
That's 5 personal fouls on Azubuike. He is going to foul out right here with 6:13 to go. 9 points. Pretty good effort from him. Couple of rebounds.
He's going to have a nice career. He can really fill it up in high school. Rebound.
Out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. At Victory Christian last year, 39 points a game. Barber, Antoine Barber coming in for him.
That'll get you a nice seat at the dinner table. 39 points.
And Steph to shoot.
Jay, Rick was really impressed in his comments. Blake Steph's game. Rick Majerus.
Blake Steph's one of the best guards in the country. I don't think there are many that combine his ability to run a team, to push it on the break, to play tough defense, to post, and to shoot the ball from the perimeter. He's got the full package, doesn't he?
He sure does it. And you think Dan Dickau last year, the bulk of the deep shots, he put them on his shoulder. Steph, the same thing.
Well, now he's able to work off of screens because Brooks is handling the ball.
Right.
So it's a new role for him, and he handles it very well. He's been hurting Kentucky the last few times down on that curl. Coming around, they need to either switch or step in front.
And last year they would put Steph at the point and let Dan work off the screens.
Violet did not shoot. Turioff backs out, airballed it, but Violet was right there.
Well, he just goes, he's like an old-time rebounder. He knew there was a shot coming, just carved his area out, and right now knocking at the door.
Yeah, look out. Yeah, timeout, Tubby Smith, because he feels Gonzaga coming. 63-57. Timeout, Kentucky. 5:20 left. And the Owens Corning preseason NIT comes up. That could be a terrific game. Stanford against number 7 Florida. The young Gators, but oh so talented, coming up next.
A game of runs here. Somebody takes a hit. Don't back off. Nice comeback right now.
Boy, it's tough to put the Zags away.
They do have a lot of responses. I mean, when you have a power game like they do, you can get to the free throw line. You can get some easy shots. You can get some follows. And all of a sudden, confidence builds in the outside shooter. So you might look for Steph all of a sudden to have an opportunity because the defense is shady to help out underneath.
Well, they certainly look for him down the stretch in that great finish against Indiana yesterday. Barber, there's Estel with 2 men around him. Fitch, got it!
Wow, nice give back.
Big shot, 3-pointer 2.
Marquise, very unselfish, didn't make any mistakes. In fact, the most logical guy on the ball.
Fitch with 13 points. So a little more room for the Wildcats. Steph picked his man into the air and drilled it.
It's amazing. All of a sudden you feel good because your teammates have lifted the game, and now you can contribute.
Steph has 22 points. Gonzaga has really hit the three-pointer when it had to. 11 out of 22. Fitch hit one a moment ago. Nearly lost the ball. Bogans will fire it up. It rimmed out. Tipped though, and Kamara there.
That's unfortunate for the Zags. They did a good job, didn't squeeze it. Torioff sort of kept it alive for the big fella to finish.
Nice play by Estill to tip that to Kamara. I think that was a controlled tip.
So by design. And it worked out beautifully. An 8-point lead for Kentucky. The points in the paint. The Wildcats with a big advantage there. Step looking down the lane. But Estill had him defended. Bogan slapped at it.
But Torioff, he really took the blue shirts underneath the basket and the play on. And this Torioff doesn't come up with this, Jay. And you may be right. Let's take a look at it here. I don't know. Little combination maybe, but good effort, good intention. And right now the big people are sort of stepping up on both ends.
6 points for Bankhead as Bogans fouled him. Marquise Estill there, and here's Brooks coming in. Another guy that Rick Majerus was very high on, the Utah coach, talking about Winston Brooks, who's a senior.
Well, now they get their form. They got the point guard.
68-62. Just a 6-point game. Down the stretch we come.
ESPN2's presentation of NCAA basketball, presented by EA Sports, is brought to you by Delta Airlines, the official airlines of the EA Sports Maui Invitational.
That's the arena. Kentucky and Gonzaga playing in the Lahaina Civic Center. They tell us 1,000 feet, just a hop, skip, and a jump from the Pacific Ocean. Inside Kentucky leading the Zags 68-62. And the Wildcats will have the basketball.
They didn't put the clock on. He finally put it on. Shot clock, that is.
Kamara, quick dish. Estill there with the foul.
Jay, we talked about their passing. How about the catch? But that was a tough one to handle.
In traffic as well, and you can see having those two on the floor at the same time, Kamara and Estill, very effective. There's got to be a lot more pressure on the ball when he gets that pass.
Well, you notice who had a cover too because of the matching up was Step down there on the big guy, and that's just impossible for him to do.
Torioff with the foul. Estill with the free throw. 71-62.
Big sequence.
Less than 3.5 minutes. Stanford and Florida coming up next. The Orange County preseason NIT from Madison Square Garden. He will look to shoot for Gonzaga.
They're doing a great job denying Bogans out here on Step.
Torioff had 3 blue shirts around him. As soon as he touched it, shot clock's at 3. How about that launch? That's a 28-footer. Torioff with a tough rebound and a foul against Kentucky.
Well, that was just a magnificent effort. The extended. Mark Few was furious because Blake Step had been trying to get free and was held. In his mind, as you noted, late in the shot clock, Torioff not fouling here is the tough part. Going way up in traffic and just unarmed underneath. Jules just couldn't keep him. You got to stick him and bend him.
A rare foul line miss for Ronny Torioff out of Martinique. Very strong, 6'10", a sophomore. He once shattered a backboard during the game. Got 1 of the 2, and he has 10 points. But you're talking about a guy who's averaged 24 a game the first couple of games of the tournament. Just 1 for 10 from the field.
A little challenge for the Kentucky big people.
Barber pulled up that dribble. Kentucky will be patient.
2 big guys have been very active too.
Pitch cross court. Bogans. The Kentucky clock snaps before, and they turn it over at the travel.
That's the one problem. And Jay, you mentioned pressuring the ball. The guard could play him out there that time, make it a little difficult.
Well, that's what you want to do when you got a guy who is not a primary ball handler. Make him put it on the floor and make a play. They did. and he dragged his foot going the other way.
Step out for the jump shot. Well off the mark by Violet. And a collision. Bogans, who's been nicked up anyway in this tournament, went hard to that deck.
Gonzaga just hesitated. It would have been his ball if he had responded quickly. Here he is back in this area, and just the hesitation and then the takedown. And you're right. Bogans, that time, the only good thing is he didn't land on the left wrist. Look at his takedown. Had the body incur most of the punishment. Got to be tough and quick.
He has 13 points, and front page news in Lexington all last season. His shooting woes, where he shot just 39%. His scoring average dipped so drastically from an excellent sophomore year when he averaged 17 points a game down to less than 12.
And I think Tubby's looking for him to do just what you saw there. Hustle, spray, all the other things. If he does those, they'll fall into place. But good leadership qualities being exhibited right now.
Just over 2 minutes left. Bankhead finding Turioff, who gets into the lane.
Nice dish.
Cast it off. And with the foul, he'll go to the line. Skinner converts.
Turioff with a terrific response. First to catch the ball and not walk. Then to put it on the floor. Draw some people. Drive, draw. You usually think the guards are the perimeter. Here they come, a little soft layoff. And Skinner with the ability now to make it 3.
Estel with the foul. He picks up his 4th, but he also rebounds that miss. A minute 50 on the clock.
The zone by nature will force Kentucky to be patient. But they still should keep the motion going, look to attack.
Estel out for Barber.
Good presentation by Estel in the lane.
It's late in the shot clock now. At 7. Pitch there. Can't get it. Tipped and missed by Estel.
Great effort by Violet. Oh, he's got that tip to his teammate.
Seven-point lead for the Wildcats. A lot of time coming off that clock. Skinner bangs it in. A three.
Nice two-man play. Steps centered the ball. Defense didn't respond. He got right back to Skinner. Ooh. I just saw Turia fall. He just slipped. I thought he hurt himself.
That was where Violet went down.
Okay, right.
Tried to clean it up, but didn't get it all.
Now they're going to do it now.
They're asking for a timeout, an official's timeout, to do just that with 46.5 seconds left. And it is a 4-point contest. Let's go to Reese in the studio.
All right, guys, and we're going to move it back to Madison Square Garden in just a few moments. Matt Walsh, sharpshooting freshman for Florida, leading the Gators against Stanford. That's coming up in a matter of moments.
Reese, thank you. And, of course, for us later tonight, the championship game of the EA Sports Maui Invitational. That's Virginia and Indiana. Right here on this floor. Turioff just fell a moment ago. Timeout. So Tubby Smith asking for one here. His team up by 4 against a Gonzaga team that has no quit in it whatsoever.
No, not at all. They will not back off. Jay, 72-68, 23 seconds. I would think if they stay in the matchup, you would look for Kentucky to get a touch on the foul line and a dump down or dispersing the ball to a wing.
No, I think that's right. And I think you made the point earlier. It's exactly right. You can't just stand around and burn clock. You've got to move while you're doing it and see if you can soften up this defense. I wouldn't be surprised, though, to see Gonzaga come out and man right now.
I agree. Absolutely. Or maybe a double up somewhere, a quick one.
Right.
.5 on the clock. Kentucky ball.
Big thing late. You do not want to say, here's the double up.
They foul Kamara.
I'd say that's an interesting decision. You know, stretch the game. Can't argue with it.
It was Turioff who stepped out to foul the big guy, and it's number 4. on Ronny Turiaf.
And Jules, 70% last year. They moved everybody off the line. The first guy I saw do this was John Chaney. I don't know if you recall that, Jay.
He makes the front end. 9 points for Jules Kamara, the 6'11" senior from Senegal. He suffered a broken right hand in September during drills, and his hand was in a cast. He missed most of the preseason. And another timeout. 74-68 Kentucky. It was a furious rally by Gonzaga yesterday. We'll see if they have another one in them. Back to the studio. Here's Reese Davis.
Okay, guys, as soon as you're finished in Hawaii, we will go to the Garden. Josh Childress leading Stanford. They upset Xavier, made it to New York. They get the Gators in just a few moments in the Owens Corning preseason NIT Center.
Oh, you love those Gator freshmen. Talented.
Well, Billy Donovan can recruit. Must be the Irish charm. I had the Irish part. But right now, the imperative that you get a good look if you're the Zags, and conversely, Kentucky want to force them to use some clock. Do not foul.
Now, for Gonzaga, who would the first option be? Is it Step or Violet?
I think they'll try and do something for Step, but it usually goes inside first. There's the penetration.
It's Turiaf on a dunk.
How about that? Quick hitter, and they are ready for the press.
They are.
They're going to give it.
Borgens is fouled. He will shoot. 74-70. Turiaf well above the rim and firing it down with 35 seconds to play.
And Jay, right now we're seeing almost like tournament type of situations being played beautifully by both ends. I mean, we saw it earlier today.
And what great experience for these kids. And Blake Stepp putting the ball on the floor, drawing the defense to him. Kamara trying to stop the penetration. Nobody rotated over to pick up Ronny Turiaf. That's great basketball.
And if Turiaf's man doesn't come over, Stepp goes all the way to the rim.
Borgens hits the first foul shot. So 5-point lead for the Cats. Gonzaga has 2 timeouts left. Kentucky 1. The Wildcats back up by 6. Step quickly firing a 3. He wasted no time.
And they don't waste any time fouling. Not a bad look.
The Owens Corning preseason NIT from Madison Square Garden. Coming your way next.
Now both coaches getting a free timeout here. Taking it back. You know who was the best at this? The free timeout, Jay? John Thompson.
Yeah, he was good.
Unbelievable.
He was good at that.
He'd gather them and the refs would say, bring them back. He said, I'll bring them back when I want to.
It'll be Jules Kamara. A real shot-blocking presence for Kentucky. And a big leaper, even at 6'11". In the game against Duke last year, he had a 5-block game for Tubby Smith. His 11 points.
And a good passer, too, man.
Yeah.
He really finds people. You know, a long way to go for this one to be over, but I think Tubby senses, you know, an improvement. I mean, really dedicated defensively, coordinated on offense. Somehow they've got to force the Zags to take a little bit of time. When they go zone.
Step over pitch. Rebounded by Hayes, and he outlets it. They got out of there with it. It's Borgens in.
Now, you know what I don't like about that? You got Fitch in front of you. For harmony, Jay, give it up, right?
If you can, but...
It was pretty stuff. Step into the paint, lays it in. But time running out on the Zags. And Kentucky will come out of Maui with a couple of wins. They will knock off number 21 Gonzaga. And that's your final score. Kentucky 80 and Gonzaga 72. Coming up next, the Owens Corning NIT, Stanford and Florida. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For Jay and Bill, I'm Dave O'Brien. Let's go to the studio and Reese Davis.